Hey guys, Xlice here. I hit hunter level 30 recently, and it's probably the biggest breakpoint between progression speed and meaningful unlocks. The next threshold is probably going to be level 40, and it'll take a bit before we hit that marker. So it's almost 1 week of NTE release, and hunter level 30 is just on the cusp of basically what F2Ps can achieve, with over 95% of the entire available game completed, with whales like myself able to hit 30 earlier due to being able to buy Fons for Tycoon levels. So now that I've hit this soft milestone, this video is aimed to provide some advanced tips and tricks to streamline your progression through NTE, and also about a hot topic, Fons. Disclaimer again, I am still recovering from a sinus infection, so apologies if I sound stuffy as hell through this video. I appreciate you sticking around, so let's get into it. Alright, so the first and biggest thing before we get into anything is probably something you've already felt as you started playing. Fons. This is the currency you need to obtain to level up your Tycoon and buy those nice shiny cars. It is the biggest bottleneck to progression in your early game. This is going to be where the biggest gap, quote unquote, in free to play versus whale progression lies, especially when it comes to Tycoon level. So if you guys aren't aware, whales are able to spend premium currency to buy millions of Fons to speed up progression. In the shop in the gift center under Prime Picks, there is the Reserve Fund Box and the Light Fund Box, which are both premium currency Fond injections. I think the Light Fund is like 400k and the Reserve Fund is 900k, and you can buy them each, I believe, 5 times per month. So yeah, so more Fons is going to be more Tycoon levels. And as you guys can see, each Tycoon level, even the previous ones, right, they give 800 Hunter EXP alongside various other upgrades, giving that extra EXP boost for slightly faster progression. All right, so now let me preface this. This game is not a race. Take things at your own pace, and honestly, it's better that you take things slowly so you don't end up burning out with nothing but mundane dailies and equipment farming to do. For full transparency, I am Tycoon level 27. And I have not maxed out my Heist Fons or used up all my city stamina, and I also did not purchase last month's pay-to-win Fons packages from the shop. Yes, monthly reset was a couple days ago, and whales who bought out everything have a slightly stronger EXP lead due to this. But again, let me reiterate, the game is not a race. Everyone will eventually cap out this Tycoon level and be on the same playing field. If you are an F2P with casual to hardcore grind, your Tycoon level is going to be somewhere between level 10 and level 20 by the first week. Level 20 is if you're going super hardcore, and level 10 is if you're just enjoying the game at a casual pace. I would say the most important threshold for Tycoon level early is probably going to be level 16 and level 23. Level 16 provides city stamina cap to 500 and also increases city stamina cost by 100, which is a good thing, not a bad thing. I'll explain this later. And then 23 is increased city stamina cap to 700. This is a weekly resource which resets every Monday, so reaching these thresholds will provide slight Fons increases. All right, so now on the topic of Fons and city stamina, there's a few things that I've learned. So you'll notice at level 16, it says city stamina cost increased by 100%. Now this looks a bit sus at first, because why would you want to double your stamina increase for everything? Well, think of it like condensed resin. It just uses your stamina faster, granting you corresponding rewards at no downside. Especially as a weekly resource, you will want to spend this each week for max Fons. So when it comes to city stamina, this is the resource that's used for all the Heathrow hobbies related activities. That's these guys right here. No matter what hobby you choose on this screen, or what progression state you are in, or what Tycoon level you are, whenever you use city stamina, it's always converted to Fons at a 1 to 1,000 rate. So say for example, I do an Amazon delivery. Depending on how it goes, let's just click on this for example, right? So depending on how this goes, I'm gonna get between 20,000 at max, all the way down to 8,000 if I have a low rating. This is going to consume exactly 8 to 20 city stamina from a 1-to-1 ratio basically, right? If I get a professional rating here, it's gonna give me 20,000 Fons, but I will consume 20 city stamina for it. If I have a really low rating, I'll have 8,000 Fons, but only consume city stamina 8 for it. So you're always gonna consume city stamina at a 1 to 1,000 ratio, which means that there's essentially no reason to save it. So yeah, this exists for everything on the screen except for Paws Heist, which I'll get to. But yeah, if you do, like for example, fishing, or if you do the owner selection, or you do racing, or you do switch travel, anything on this list, whenever you consume 1 city stamina, which is this resource right here, it is going to be converted to 1,000 Fons. And because you can keep doing activities even when you're out of city stamina, just spam using this ASAP to get all your Fons for the week. So that's why level 16 and level 23 are the thresholds, because you start out with only like, what is it, like 100 to 250 to 300 or something. It goes up to 500 and 700, right? Which increases your max cap for the week. So currently I've only used like 268 for this week. I still want to use 422 before we get a reset on Monday. This also means, and this is pretty important, you do not need to save these stamina refreshes. In fact, I should be doing this, but I've been kind of slowly doing the city stamina as I progress my 100 level. So yeah, there is no point to save. If you're a free to play or something, use these bottles, not the premium currency, but these bottles as soon as you can, because this will allow you to get the maximum fonts possible. And there's literally no reason to save. The longer you save it, it doesn't convert to anything more. You can basically think of each of these bottles as a 100,000 fonts, because that's literally what it is. It's never going to increase over time. It's always going to stay the same value. And if you're curious, I believe that the fastest way to use city stamina is this owner's selection mini game. And you do this by bonking people. The meta is to get a bite song with his life skill level 3 and option you have Nanally and mid level 2 as well. Let me show you what that means. So when you go to each character, right? For example, if I have like bite song, each of them has a life skill ability right here. At level 3, it'll take these dreamless seeds, by the way. In owner's selection, which is what I just talked about, combos persist when customers lose patience or get hit by hammers. So I believe the hammer method is the fastest way to complete this. And with bites on level 3, you basically get to skip like the mechanics of it and get some free point value. And then if you combine this, if you also have Nanally level 3, you get 115% of the value when hitting people with hammers. And then for mint, not sure if mint is necessary, but mint level 3, you get a tip increase with each combo. And this connects with bite songs, right? Because you don't remove your combo. So yeah. All right. So another advice for Fons. Let me go to my UI here for the Pink Paws Heist. All right. So Pink Paws Heist. I'm sure you guys are familiar with Chiz over here. So Pink Paws Heist is a unique source of Fons that resets on its own timer that you guys can see here. So this does not consume city stamina at all, but this does require you to actively play its own mechanic and doing its stuff basically. It's like a cool thing, in my opinion. It's like, you know, robbing a bank. Don't do that IRL. And there's definitely ways to min-max it, which I'll get to in a second. For the sake of this video's information, just make sure you do this before it resets for the 1 million flat fonts per this rotation. Obviously, the earlier the better, so you hit higher Tycoon level faster. But yeah, this is the biggest flat jump in fonts that you can get, and there's no really way to increase it. In terms of like min-maxing it, I would say that when you go into the heist, basically you can just rush through the first floor and the second floor. And once you get to LG2, I believe, so you're gonna be on base floor. And then when you get to the elevator, it's going to be LG1. So the second floor is like LG1, right? When we get to the third floor, which is LG2, that's basically where you want to get all your rewards. You basically just F spam and scroll wheel spam and collect as much stuff as possible while dodging as many of the mobs. I noticed that even the gold mobs aren't even valuable on the early stages. So I would just, you know, loot as much as possible. It's kind of hard to explain, kind of gotta do it for a little bit, but for the most part, on average, if you do it really fast and you min-max it, you can easily get between 100 to 150k per time that you do this. And I believe there is also co-op stuff related to this, so like you can, you know, make it a little bit more fun. All right, so that is Pink Paws Heist. I don't really need to go through too much detail on that. You'll figure out like the min-maxing. All you basically need to know for the bank heist is that the early floors provide so little rewards. So you basically rush down to the first elevator as soon as possible, and then you start grinding. All right, and then of course, don't forget about the cafe here. I'm not really sure if there's something to min-max here. Personally, I'm just pretty lazy. So I put as many characters as possible. And of course, you can go ahead and level up the life skills. I've been pretty lazy about this. Not that big of a deal to me. And then I use whatever furniture that I have. So I'll go to my management here. I'll go to here. And I'll just place literally anything that I have. Yeah, just increase the value. And yeah, so for these, I just choose like the most profitable ones. No need to like think about it that much. And then for restocking, I go 24-hour here. And then I go restock. And then I always choose delivery. So the left option, which is add to shopping list, this, when you do it, it requires you to literally go to a grocery shop on your map and then buy it out. I am too lazy for that. So I just do delivery. I accept the Fons payment here, and you know, that's just life. Don't worry about spending the Fons, by the way, if you're worried about that. Your Tycoon level is the total amount of Fons that you've earned overall. So once you have it, you can spend it however you like. So you can buy like, you know, expensive cars, whatever you want. All right, so for the rest of Fons, again, it's just city stamina and various general progression, including quests, rewards from almost everything in game. As you guys can see here, you get a little bit of Fons for doing, you know, extra shit around. Just, yeah, do all the stuff. If you guys are all aware of these tips and we're looking for something special, unfortunately, I don't think there really is. This is basically just a way to min-max it. It's Heathrow hobbies, it's cafe stuff. And then after that, it's doing the heist, and then you're chilling. After that, it's just the whale method of buying more Fons. All right, so really quickly, some more stuff when it comes to hunter level. We've got exploration guide. We have anomaly commissions, witch's house, side quest, and general samus. Let's go through each one briefly. So press F1 for the exploration guide. There's a juicy amount of hunter EXP here. F2Ps before level 30 will be able to completely finish level 8. For this, okay? You guys will be in progress at level 9, because level 9 you can't finish because you require level 50, which requires hunter level 30. So yeah. Level 8 does require you to do what's called anomaly commissions, okay? So anomaly commissions, open up your map, pressing M, bottom right. Anomaly commission. Under the common commissions tab, each of these has a one-time clear EXP of 100 EXP. So you guys can see here, these ones that I've done here, this is a one-time clear, 100 level EXP. Lower star level, lower EXP, obviously. Higher star level, a little bit higher, but each one has a one-time clear. There's also special commissions here. There is the Nightmare Bound one. This one supports multiplayer, as you guys can see here. This is low-key like a horror game. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It gives you 450 EXP on your first clear, which is pretty nice. So do be wary that all of these anomaly commissions are not just kill something and get a reward. Where, you know, they will be, but yeah, it's not only that. You'll have to do something a bit outside the box to achieve your goal. So yeah, I've done some of them, not all of them, just because I've been able to whale on Fons. So you don't need to worry about high-risk commissions. These ones that are locked, you know, you need to complete this first, but these high-risk commissions, they do not give you 100 EXP anymore. These are just basically extra difficulty challenges for extra stuff. All right, next thing is Witch's House. All right, so good old Witch's House with emo Raven Lady with some feet. So Witch's House, this one is going to be on the smaller scale for EXP, but still worth mentioning. So you're going to be able to get 200 EXP per level. There are 12 levels total, basically like Oculi, right? You know, you find Oracle Stones, you feed them in, you get some stuff. Yeah, so these are the Oracle Stones you get from the Ravens that you find in Exploration. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about. You've probably seen them around. And then, of course, after this, you're going to be having blue quests and just quests in general. Each of the quests gives a hefty amount of EXP. You'll notice that for blue quests, they have a base amount of EXP that varies per quest. But what I've actually found is that usually the quest has 2 or more parts that each give this amount of EXP shown, which adds up over time. So especially the red quests that you do, which I don't think I have any of them anymore since I did them all. Red quests are like companion quests, unlockables for your map and stuff like that. So yeah, blue quests are fine. These are just like NPC side quests. And then of course we have your local stamina. So let me pull up F1 again, this page right here. Use it on honestly whatever you want, to be honest. I kind of split mine a little bit in the early game between EXP and beetle coins, but then I realized I had more than enough, so I kind of just invested in upgrade materials for characters and also consoles. So consoles are going to be the artifact equivalent in this game and are a bit unique in the way it's designed. For now, I just auto-equip everything after selecting the main thing. It's not really worth min-maxing until we actually consistently farm decent stuff. You probably noticed that, like, I didn't know this by the way, but I thought a console only had 4 extra Tetris pieces on top of it. When you auto-equip it, you can actually equip as many as the space can fill. So I can equip 8 total pieces here, which is quite nice. So not worth min-maxing this right now. We'll get to this like later on. Okay, so all of this now, let's talk about, sorry, it's been a little bit long-winded. I think the most important thing out of this video was like the font stuff, but level 30. So what does level 30 actually give you? Level 30 obviously allows you to farm gold modules and gold consoles. So these thingies. And they also give you gold coins to get the gold Tetris pieces. So this is actually the main benefit from hitting level 30. They are still really rare to get, but at least it's doable now. You can also level all characters and arcs to level 50. And now, generally, your characters should be strong enough to tackle the endgame. In this game, the endgame here is called Beyond the Rails. So this thing is where we start to get the endgame Abyss equivalent. So once you're level 30 and you can upgrade your characters to level 50, you'll be able to start to hit level 6, which will require 2 teams. So a bit of advice once you reach this stage of content. Grabbing and investing in Sakiri is going to be meta and beneficial for all foreseeable content. Sakiri is basically the S-rank Bennett equivalent in this game, and Haniel here is the A-rank version. I highly recommend you invest in both Haniel and Sakiri so you can have access to an attack buffer for both sides. From my experience with the endgame, it looks like one side is dedicated to AoE trash mobs, while the other side is dedicated to a single target boss fight. If you have Nanally, you will very likely pair her with Zhou Yuan, solidifying one side of your teams. Otherwise, you can orient out whatever you want, your favorite DPS to invest in. So yeah, now without getting too deep into things, that basically covers what to focus on. I know the title of this video is quote unquote level 30 changes everything, which is kind of true, but not really. It basically just enters you into the mid to end game progression. You've already unlocked basically all major features that the game has. Level 30 just allows your characters to be strong enough to tackle the more difficult content, especially with being able to farm gold gear. All right, so checklist. Hunter level, we discussed. Tycoon level, we discussed. Important of Fons, we discussed. That's the most important trio. But yeah, what do you do with all the Fons that you have? Besides, of course, you can buy cars. Well, if you press F5, don't forget about this. Hunter exchange. If you take a look here, there is a refresh timer, all right? It says June 2nd, 2026. You click here, it says that non-limited items refresh when the shop countdown ends. Unpurchased items do not carry over to the limited cycle. So non-limited. All of this top stuff is limited, but everything down here is non-limited, or I think it is. So I already bought a stack of these. Everything in here is a good place to spend your Fons. All of these resources are usually gained from stamina. For example, this is a conversion into some upgrade materials. So it's really, really nice. Just as an example, let's see if I were to upgrade Hathor's weapon. I want to do a send here. It would use these things, right? This we just saw in here, which basically saves you stamina. Spending your Fons here is a great way to basically save stamina on resources. The resources that I would personally buy are all of the material selection bosses. So that includes this as well. I believe this is weapon ascension. And then we have this, which is just what I showed you. And then also the purple ones, which are the Anomaly Hunt material selection. This is like character ascension, like level 40, level 50. These four are all very good. Also things that are good are Dreamless Seeds for life steals and expansion cores, but I actually haven't used any of these yet. When it comes to characters and arcs, the resources that I would typically lack are all the materials to ascend. I haven't actually been bottlenecked too heavily on like EXP and beetle coins, but I have spent a little bit extra stamina to farm them. Not sure if that actually helped me out, or I still have a lot of extra level up resources. But yeah, so do not want this video to take too much longer. Hopefully this little guide helped you out. Level 30 is basically the early game finish point. After that, it's you min-maxing your Tycoon level, which is slowly going to upgrade over time. So that basically covers everything I wanted to discuss with you guys. If I missed anything major, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, hope you guys have been having fun. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more NTE videos, and we'll see you guys on the next one. All right, take care.